Hello, wherever you're tuning in from, this is the Investor's Corner, where we explore hidden treasures with me, Tech Stephen Ogut. In this episode, I'm glad to be joined by the Minister of Roads and Bridges, Honorable Simon Mijok Mijak. Thank you for giving us your time and appearing on SSBC.
Thank you. You're most welcome. Tech Stephen Ogut with your team to your home.
Yes. Today in this episode, we are going to be talking about the state of road infrastructure in South Sudan. And it is from this perspective that we would like to begin by asking you to explain to our viewers the difference between the road construction that is conducted by the National Ministry, the work that is for the state government, the work that is for the county government, and for local government up to the municipality. We need to understand. Can you explain to us which roads belongs to which institution?
Thank you once again, Tech Stephen Ogut, for hosting me in this program, Investor's Corner. And I'm really delighted on behalf of the Ministry of Roads and Bridges to join this program because we are the leading institution in development program. To go straight to the question, we have national road classification endorsed by the government, by the Council of Ministers, and we are now on the second stage to review it because it has 10 years now. So based on the recommendation made during the 4th Governors Forum, we are now embarking to look again on this program. Road classification are divided into 3 categories. We have the national roads, state roads, and local government roads or county roads. The national roads are in 2. We have the trunk roads, which connect us with our neighboring countries, 6 countries neighboring us. And the second is interstate highway. So we are having 2 major national roads. We call them N road from national. And the rest of roads are classified to be A roads. The state roads, the roads connect the state capital with the county headquarters. It's the responsibility of the state. And then the local government, that is the county government, takes the responsibility to connect the county headquarters with Payam and Boomers. We call them feeder roads. We have a program being financed jointly with our partners, although it is now in a low scale because of certain intervention like the emergencies of relief. Some have moved to education support, for health support, for other needs. So these are the 3 categories. But of now, all these categories are the responsibility of this ministry because the state level are not well prepared to take up, although they have ministries of roads and bridges, but still we need to help their capacity. And we are working to do that through the National Road Authority of South Sudan. They will have their branches at the state level, provide with equipment so that they do the low cost. Of course, we all know maybe we were the last generation of 1983 to pave road. It was a community work. And that's why we have the tribal boundaries, which were transformed to be administrative and political boundaries. The young ones used to pave the road, and it was a must to do, and that's why you find the chiefs with those colors. These are responsibilities. Then also the youth pay the tax, the poll tax. It is a must, but all these are not there. So you, Tax Stephen, be prepared. I will take you along to Fashala so that we do the work. I know your section may say tax is somewhere. Either you pay money to do the work and bring the bulldozers on your behalf.
Yes, based on your explanation that there are responsibilities of these roads, but due to challenges also, as you mentioned, states and local government are unable to meet their expectation to pave ways. Now becomes the sole responsibility of the national ministry, which is the national government, to construct all these roads. But in the process of doing all this, these are too many roads that the ministry is trying to concentrate on all of them at a go. I am sure there comes in the need for a prioritizing. How does the ministry prioritize these roads, which at this particular time appear to be all relevant and same importance?
Thank you once again. Our road priorities comes on top N1. The letter N come from national roads. So we have N1 and N2. Now with reviewing of the road classification, we are adding more N's. We have A roads, arterial roads, from the arteries of the body. It connects the country together. So we take from Nimuli, Juba, Bor, Ayod, Malakal, Rang. This is N1. And along this N1, Nimuli corridor is prioritized. And that's why we had the first tarmac road. It's not real asphalt, but it is a coal mix. And that's why it's not like the one in town here. The one in Juba town is more stronger than what was in Nimuli, but it was a grant. You cannot say anything about it. We are now reviewing it and maintaining it so that we... N2 runs from Key Base at our border with Kenya through Nadapal, Kapoita, Torit, Juba, Mundri, Mvolo, Rumbek, Tony, Wau, Kwajok, Gogreal, up to Abiy. From Kenyan border to Sudan border, and the same with from Ugandan border to Sudan border. These are the two ends, but we are adding more ends. For example, N3, mostly Jeko and Nasser, Malakal, Fariang, Bentiu, Gogreal again, up to Raja, going to DRC, to Central Africa. That is linking Central Africa with Ethiopia, like what we are linking Uganda with Sudan, and all the links pass through. For your information, we have one of the richness of this country is the location. This is the heart of Africa. Sudan used to be proud of that. The heart is now in South Sudan, and we all know the function of heart. When it stops, then the whole body is. So South Sudan is. We are advocating it to be the new Dubai of Africa with the resources and location, because Dubai just positioned itself to be the middle of Middle East, Australia, Southeast Asia, Africa. That is how they did the marketing. So we can do it in South Sudan when we are connected to the road. So from Kenya, we are aiming to connect up to Douala, Mombasa, to Douala in Cameroon. So you can get the goods from.
Yeah. Yes, Honorable Minister, and as we talk about these national roads, you mentioned N1, N2, and the possibility of also starting on N3. But looks like the one that are in progress now is the N1 and partially also N2. Can you tell us about the progress of these national highways that the government has embarked on? For N1, we have seen the progress of Bor Road, which is halfway or almost halfway. And then for N2, from the side of Juba Rumbek, it is somehow picking up. We had some scandals in the past, but also maybe you can shed light on that. And while also you're explaining this, we would like you to give us the reason as to why some of these national roads are two-tier and others are one carrier.
Yes, the progress on this road, first of all, let me thank His Excellency the President of the Republic, General Salva Kiir Mayardit, for initiating the oil proceeds for infrastructure development, and in particular road infrastructure. And that's why we started from October 2019 up to now, embarking on implementation of road construction, and mainly the national contractors and subcontractors are the one leading the campaign to achieve road connectivity. Juba-Bor is almost 200 kilometers. The road layers has already reached the town, so you can drive anytime and go to Bor, and you can come back to Juba. And I'm proud when I heard His Excellency the President in the Parliament saying one of the great things which had happened is that he went to Bor driving the same day, and he came back to Juba. And he said it never had happened because we know the difficulties of the terrain. So the road now is in Bor, and our plan was that by last May 2021, we would have been in Ayut, but some issues came up, the flooding and also the cash flow, because we are also balancing the development. So the asphalt road from Juba to Mangala is double carriageway. That is the specification for N road. And I need it to be clear to our public.
Yes, that all
N road are double carriageway. These are regional integration road and continental integration. So we plan to have a road width of 60 meters. It should have been 120, but taking into consideration the compensation and a lot of issues related to that, we are now using 60 meters width of road, double carriageway. Like the road outside here, behind us, is a double carry. Two roads, two cars on the other side. A road is just a one single where two cars.
Yes, and the part where we have another end road, the Juba-Bar Ghazal road, which is one carriage. What is?
I have already explained the current classification. N2 passes from Juba to Mundri, Muvolo, up to Rumbek. The one we are constructing through Terkeka is A65, beginning from Terkeka all the way to Juba, to Terkeka, and is N in Chambe. That is the current status until modification is done. But I want to say that roads are built in phases. You need to have the volume of traffic, because you have transport economies can also testify to that. We are now being accused we are wasting money on double carriageway on board, and we are mean here, we are not paying to Rumbek. That is the expectation of people. But otherwise, roads are done in phases, and we need to have a width of road, and then later on, phase 2 comes and phase 1. For example, we have directed the contractor to go single from Mangala to Bor. They are now almost 100 kilometers, and we are remain with 100 to Bor. The single carriageway from Juba to Terkeka, Terkeka is within our control now, because the road is there and we are struggling 50 kilometers. We are last 10 kilometers to reach Terkeka with the road. So this is what is needed to go faster because of the resources. Then the luxurious one will come. We are now planning for that, and we need our people to know that, because it is counted. When you are paying, investing money, you must get something out of it. Asphalt is not just for luxury to drive on it. You need to carry development. You need to pay money, pay back the money invested on the road.
Yes, Honorable Minister, we're going to talk about the other part of this ministry, which is bridges, because this ministry is about roads and bridges. And maybe before that, let's go for a short break, and we'll be back to talk more about that.
Thank you.
The Investors Corner takes a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly. There are plenty of investment opportunities in this world's youngest nation of South Sudan. To better understand the economy and explore the thriving market of this country, you ought to get out of your comfort zone. You either hustle under the scorching sun in Konyo Konyo market, run errands at a small or medium business enterprise, or better yet, chair a conglomerate board meeting at a high-end tower in Juba. While awaiting an official business trip to the region. Whatever you do, just don't rest. Work hard, think big, and be smart in order to count all your economic blessings through this weekly business show of the Investor's Corner, exploring hidden treasures. Join us every week at this time. Welcome back. You are watching the Investor's Corner with me, Tech Stephen Ogut. And as you have seen in the previous part, first part of this interview, I am joined by the Minister of Roads and Bridges, Honorable Simon Mijok. Welcome back. And before the break, I was asking you to tell us about the other part of this ministry, which is the bridges. And it's on that note also that I would want you to begin by telling us about the new bridge that people have been talking about, I believe, since 2014-15, the Freedom Bridge. We understand is a grant by the Japanese, but up to now is not yet completed.
It's completed and you are invited tomorrow.
There is a talk of launching it, and we are not yet sure when. Can you tell us briefly about the Freedom Bridge?
Yeah, thank you very much. Freedom Bridge was launched by His Excellency, the President, in early 2015. And the work has been on and off because of 2013 it started, and then also 2016 and the corona pandemic. But I must thank the Japanese government through its embassy here in Juba and JICA for coming back to complete the bridge. Now the bridge is completed, and tomorrow, Thursday, we'll be visiting the bridge together with a specialized standing committee of roads and bridges in the TNLA. So you are most welcome. The bridge is ready to be open for traffic in May.
We would like to know about the Freedom Bridge because if I'm not wrong, I think it's also a one carriage bridge. And is it a double carriage or one carriage?
It's one carriage.
And we would also want to know how can a one carriage bridge accommodate a double carriage highway that is going to enter the bridge?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is good that I've been in this ministry since 2011. I signed the protocol on this table when General Gear was the minister and I was deputy. What happened is the grant, as you have mentioned, that means the gift. And even the word freedom, when we presented to the cabinet for naming, the word freedom came from the cabinet, and we need to be abide by collective responsibility of the cabinet resolution. Otherwise, we put it at the end of navigation because we need to have the modern bridge built by South Sudanese somewhere north of Juba. The one you can see somewhere there in the design. And it's very expensive.
Which part of the city?
No, we still have, you can see that ring road, Juba master plan is there, done by JICA in 2007. And we are implementing all these roads, we are implementing together with JICA, the bridges. And so the bridge is an attempt to relieve the suffering of road users on all Juba bridge, because that bridge was designed when we were having lorries of 2 ton, 4 ton. Now the incoming goods from East Africa is almost 80 ton, and that's why when you're passing through the bridge keeps shaking because the load is too much on it. So it was an intervention to release, and you have been hearing the breaking of the bridge from time to time because of heavy loads. So it was an emergency, but we are planning to have the modern suspended bridge as you like. You know, any market, you have all the type, and the lowest, the medium, and the most expensive. We will pay for the most expensive from the people of South Sudan to enjoy. So that is why we have that. It's not the final. We have other bridges to come to Juba.
And when the Freedom Bridge is inaugurated, possibly anytime this year, what would be the fate of the current Juba Bridge, which is in a bad shape?
It's not. We are still maintaining it. We will embark on another phase of maintenance, and it will be used for small cars, for pedestrian, for border, and even for tourism. If you can have a look in between the two bridges, is an artificial lakes. We can position ourselves, and we are coordinating with our colleagues in Ministry of Wildlife and Tourism. This is the real source of River Nile, because it's where the navigation begins from Juba. And we can focus, we can tell the world, come and see the source of the Nile. They will come and see this great river. It begins from Juba, from here. So there's a lot of money. And not leave alone the other activities along the river. Of course, river is itself, it is a source of money where people can invest and enjoy the Nile water, and also they cruise all along, even up to Sudan. It is part of our tourism, not only wildlife, but the river itself is.
Yeah, and transport as well. And on that note, also there is a construction of another bridge in Wau, which I think have been inaugurated recently. Can you tell us about the status of that, the progress of work on that bridge? We understand there are also issues recently that arose on both social media and the current media about the naming of that bridge. And what is also the status of the old bridge in Wau?
Yes, we have another grant from the People's Republic of China, and it was in 2018 when His Excellency the President participated in Sino-Africa Conference in Beijing. He got from the government of China a grant. That grant, the ministry decided to take it to Wau, because the old bridge of Wau is on the verge of collapse, and we are still working to maintain it and keep it as our legacy of Anyanyawan. And you know, your father is one of the veterans, like the one of Juba is also. These are the assets of the first phase of liberation. Now the SPLM is adding this Freedom Bridge in Juba and Kalmanomboro Bridge in Wau. And I must make it clear, because social media were almost debating. It was a cabinet resolution to name the bridge, because I presented the naming of the bridge and requests from the Council of Ministers money for compensating people who are going to be affected by the right of way. The bridge is on, and I must thank His Excellency the President for allowing me to give a go-ahead for construction before launching. Launching is not made. Even for Bo Road, we have not made the launching, because I informed His Excellency about our strategy to bridge the gap between the government and the people. The loss of confidence. When we say something, they will say, the Kalam Circuit. So now, road in Bor is Makalam Circuit. Road Fitorit, 1 hour, Makalam Circuit. So it's becoming nearer to its government to believe what we say. So the bridge in Wau is not launched up to now. We gave a go-ahead in December 2019 for the construction. Sorry, 2020, sorry. December 2020. By now, we are going 15 months, and the construction is supposed to take 30 months. If we wait for cabinet resolution and our bureaucracy and our partners are ready, that will not be good for us, because they have brought something to consume. Otherwise, they will say you are not ready for it. And that's why we went for that decision to give a go-ahead for the contractor to start. Now the bridge is showing up. We are left with 14 months, and it will be open. The same with Luri Bridge. If you go now, you'll find a place which is supposed to be the launching or the groundbreaking, but now we are talking of opening. So maybe we will phase 2 for His Excellency to do both in one day. And people are seeing Kubri Haboba in a different shape, because we are building it for N2. The capacity of that bridge is more than 100 ton, and it will go for almost 100
Yes.
years.
Another important city or town within South Sudan that lies along the river is Malakal. And Malakal up to now does not have a single bridge. What is the future of connecting that city?
Yes, that is the challenge we have. And on my table, all plans and connections to have Malakal Bridge. Of course, will be a mega bridge to allow the streamers to pass. It will cost a huge money, and either we get it through loaning or we take from the people of South Sudan from their budget and do it, because it will not be like grant. Grant can be 50 million, but this is in hundreds, because now the technology is changing to tunnels. Maybe when we get the appropriate fund, either from loaning, from investor, or we pay. So Malakal is our next target, together with Sobat River and Bentiu. Later on, we will have in Nasser and even in Malut and Bor, but mostly Bor need roads. But Malakal, we must have a bridge so that we have N3 passing from Jeko Nasser all the way to Central Africa. So this is our next target, and I'm not going to disclose how far we have gone, but very soon. We have sent last year to assess the venue, the place where we are going to, and many attempts are being made. We have.
But you can confirm that because Malakal strategically, it allows, as you mentioned, steamers and boats and all this to pass. The bridge has to meet the standards, which is high enough to allow them.
Of course.
Is it going to be a suspension bridge or a tunnel?
It will decide. We'll decide it because we are not the one to decide alone. Even the public, because once we decide our decisions here, we also relate to engineering aspect, the engineering fraternity. All the engineers in South Sudan, even the private ones, consultants who are in the market, are engaged, and that's why you have this section of road from Juba to Terkeka was achieved. If you can see, things are better because we have engaged our engineers here in the ministry, engineers of the School of Engineering, University of Juba, engineers of South Sudan Council of Engineering Council, and then also any engineers we are consulting and are capable, and need not to explain what they did to improve on the washout on the Brumbek Road.
Yes, and Honorable Minister, as you mentioned earlier in the beginning of the program, that the role of state, county and local authorities in construction of road has been too slow, and it has now been a burden on the national ministry. Now there is the issue of overcrowding in the city, more specifically because of the road issue. Are there plans by the National Ministry of Roads to consider flyovers maybe in the city, or it is a long-term plan that is not a priority at the moment?
It is a top priority, and we have now initiated consultations with the mayor of Juba City and the Ministry of Roads and Bridges of Central Equatoria. I gave them a document to go over it before I presented to the council how to manage congestion in Juba. Also, our road users also need to be educated the way they use the road. I'm proud you have been in Kampala. These roads are not there, but still the Ugandans, they manage their way to drive on these narrow roads, and now you have double carriageway. It's still low, or from this junction, the roundabout, 7 days. If you look on the road, it is 6 lane, 3-3. You will find the other lane is taken over by vendors, and the others will try to squeeze in. It is the same with what was happening on the bridge, but we need to be civilized to use the road in a good manner, because any nation is measured by the behaviors of its citizens on the road. This we will capture how advanced this country from the, but the way we are doing it in a konyo way, our traffic doing their best, but as a citizen you need to be abide with, you don't park your on the road. Now things are coming up, fees will be imposed, and this is what I told His Lordship, the mayor. They have a lot of money to get from the parking yard or even on the road. These are public roads. If you are parking, you need to be charged. As long as you stay, although we tried at the airport, you can see the parking has been turned to washing.
Yes, and Honorable Minister, time may not be on our side, but as they say that road infrastructure is the heart of any development. It is the road that takes the hospitals, the schools, and all the kind of developments. What would be your takeaway point as we wind up this program?
Yeah, I must thank the people of South Sudan for their patience, and we need them also to take the road as the top priority of development, which generates the other services and the function of the government. Although I'm a minister in the government, I'm seeing our people concept or perception about the government is like an NGO which dish out relief. No, government need to be fed by its people, supported by its people, so that you deliver 5 things: security, road, hospital, and school, clean water. These are the expectations. Government doesn't feed people. And we all know I'm the last generation of 83 to pay tax and pave roads for the government. But now people are looking on His Excellency the President. Uncle Abelelier and Uncle Joseph Lago, they are still alive. When they were here in this building, they looked down what is coming from Greater Upper Nile districts, maybe 9 districts. And then also the 7th of Bahar Ghazal and 6th of. And that's why you have Uye to be small London, because of the income coming from the tea plantation and the rest. But now people are eyeing up what is coming from Juba. That is not the real definition of the government. And we need to create security and harmony so that you produce and pay your tax so that the government become richer. And you have heard the say of our great leader, John Garang. Poor population meaning poor government. And let us not to be deceived by this oil money. This is just a temporary, and these are the resources gifted by God to us so that we make the development. And that is why I must thank His Excellency for giving me this hot ministry to take the challenge. And it is a challenge I really enjoy, and that's why we are balancing the development throughout. We have in now Central Equatoria, all the roads is under my responsibility, being Ye or Kajukeji or Nimuli or Torid Road or Mundi Road or Bo Road. So what next for the state to do is also to come up with cultivation and a lot of production to flood Juba, so that they we have in Greater Jonglei, of course, our priorities is A60 from Bor, Pibor, Fachala, and then we have A30 from Ayot, Wada, Kobo, And then we have Rad going down to Capoeira. These are our priorities. In Upper Nile, we have a priority, A20, Yeko Nasser, Malakal. And then A10, we have Pagak up to Malut. And then we need to put the road classification for western side of Fashoda. It doesn't have any classification now, but we are determined to fill the gap in balanced development. There is Fashoda, northern Barghazal State, Awil West. We have also the area of Toin South, Toin East. We need to address, because Toin Road doesn't serve a lot of people. People are cut in. In western Equatoria, we have A70 branching from N2 in Mundiri to Meridi, Yambio, Tambora, A25 from Tambora, Wow, up to Awil. So, and also we have A15 Raja, Wow. So all the roads are there, and every citizen needs road. We have, not to forget, connection up to Unity State from A35, from Rumbek, Maper, up to Mayandit, Bentiu, and it crossed to Fariang, Jau, at the border with Sudan. So all over, we are putting everybody on board. The people of Mogari, Lafon, going down to Torit and up to Tertanya is A75. So all the country, we have the map, and you can later on enjoy it.
Yes, and due to time, Honorable Minister, we would love to visit this topic again in the near future so that you can explain to our viewers in details.
Not only in the office, you can do part on the road. Yes. So tomorrow you are invited. We are going with the parliamentarian to see the Freedom Bridge.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, for giving us your time. And this,
the last word.
Yes, we will have to leave it there because of time, and we'll revisit this topic again. And that was my guest for today, Honorable Minister of Roads and Bridges, Honorable Simon Mijok, and I've been your host for this episode, Tech Stephen Ugut, wishing you a very good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.